It is the summer of 1816. Across large parts of Europe and North America, the season that is supposed to bring warmth, sunshine, and abundant harvests brought something completely different. Frost, snow, heavy rain, and widespread crop failure. In New England, farmers woke up one morning in June to see snow covering their fields. In July, snow fell again in Vermont, New Hampshire, and parts of New York. In August, ice formed on rivers in Pennsylvania. In Europe, Switzerland recorded snow in every single month of the year. France and Germany faced weeks of continuous rain and unusually low temperatures. Wheat crops turned black in the fields. Potatoes rotted in the ground before they could be harvested. Food prices rose sharply, and hunger started spreading from village to village. This unusual weather was not a local problem. It was a global climate event known as the Year Without a Summer, one of the most significant short-term climate disasters in modern recorded history. To understand how this happened, we need to go back to April 1815 to a remote island in Indonesia. On April 5, 1815, Mount Tambora on the island of Sumbawa began to erupt. For several days, the activity increased. Then, on April 10th, the volcano exploded with enormous force. It was a volcanic explosivity index 7 eruption, the largest in at least 10,000 years. The blast was so powerful that it completely removed the top 4,000 feet of the mountain. The explosion was heard more than 1,600 miles away. Ash and rock were thrown almost 28 miles into the sky. Pyroclastic flows and tsunamis killed at least 10,000 people on Sumbawa and nearby islands in the first few days. But the most important effect was what the volcano sent into the atmosphere. Tambora released between 50 and 70 million tons of sulfur dioxide high into the stratosphere. This gas turned into tiny sulfate aerosol particles that spread around the entire planet. As a result, global temperatures dropped. In many parts of the northern hemisphere, summer temperatures in 1816 were 3 to 6 degrees Celsius lower than normal. In some regions, the cooling was even more severe during the critical growing season. The impact on agriculture was immediate and severe. In the northeastern United States, the summer of 1816 became known as 1800 and froze to death. On June 6th, snow fell in Albany, New York. Killing frosts occurred repeatedly from May through September. Corn production fell by 50 to 70% in many areas. Farmers lost entire harvests. Some families were forced to eat hedgehogs, boiled nettles, and wild plants to survive the winter. The hardship encouraged many people to move westward in search of better farmland. In Europe, the situation was even worse. Switzerland had snow in every month of 1816. In France and Germany, constant rain and cold destroyed the wheat and oat harvests. In Ireland, the potato crop, the main food for the poor, failed almost completely. Food shortages led to sharp price increases. Bread riots broke out in several cities. Governments had to import grain from Russia and the United States, but supplies were limited and expensive. Historians estimate that the Year Without a Summer contributed to several thousand deaths in Ireland from famine-related causes. Across Europe, malnutrition weakened people and made them more vulnerable to diseases like typhus. The combination of cold weather and food shortage created a difficult cycle that lasted for several years. The economic and social effects were far-reaching. Food prices doubled and tripled in many places.
Unemployment rose as farms failed. Migration increased as people left their villages looking for work and food. In some regions, the hardship added to the instability that remained after the long Napoleonic Wars. Interestingly, the same cold and rainy summer also led to an important moment in literature. In June 1816, a small group of English writers gathered at Villa Diodati on the shores of Lake Geneva in Switzerland. The weather was so cold and wet that they could not go outside for days. To pass the time, they read ghost stories and challenged each other to write the scariest tale they could. From that gathering came Mary Shelley's novel Frankenstein. Lord Byron's physician John Polidori wrote The Vampire, which later inspired the modern vampire genre. The gloomy, cold atmosphere of that summer directly influenced the mood of these works. The effects of the Tambora eruption did not disappear quickly. Poor harvests and cooler temperatures continued in some areas into 1817 and 1818. Scientists today consider 1816 as the start of a short cooling period. The event is studied as a clear example of how a single large volcanic eruption can affect global climate for several years. Modern climate models show that if a similar VEI-7 eruption happened today, the consequences for world agriculture and food supply would be very serious. Because our world is now much more connected, the impact would spread faster and affect billions of people. The year without a summer teaches us an important lesson. Our societies are closely connected to the natural systems of the Earth. A single event thousands of miles away can change weather patterns, destroy crops, raise food prices, and affect the daily lives of millions of people. It also shows the strength of ordinary people. Farmers tried new crops and methods when they could. Communities helped each other during difficult times. Writers and thinkers continued their work even when conditions were hard. Life moved forward despite the challenges. Nearly 210 years later, the eruption of Mount Tambora remains one of the best documented examples of volcanic impact on climate. It helps scientists and historians understand the relationship between nature and human society. If you enjoyed this clear and detailed account of the year without a summer, please hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications. Every week I bring you well-researched, factual stories from history that help us better understand the world we live in today. In the comments, tell me one thing. What part of the 1816 climate event surprised you the most? Or what lesson do you think we can learn from it for today? I read every comment and try to reply to as many as possible. If you want more videos like this, clear explanations of important historical events, subscribe and stay with the channel. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.